Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on into another Man Cave 101 podcast special presentation. Tonight we have our Artist Spotlight episode number 8 coming at you. Before we get into all the details, let me introduce the guys. Brooklyn in the house, Big Chase, what's happening?
Salute. Welcome back.
Live from the Man Cave, his enemies are still searching for him. Kalo K, the Mamawana God.
What's going on, people? ¿Qué pasa?
So yes, and I am your man in the chair, Aaron. So yes, as I alluded to earlier, we are bringing you our episode 8 of the Artist Spotlight. Today we have an artist from Konkret Comics, and he is going to talk about his comic, Watchman, the Watchman. So let me bring him in. Lyle, welcome on into the stream. What is happening?
What's up, guys? Just chilling. Waiting for my food.
we call Lyle out in the street. He out there trying to get some food.
Man's just trying to eat. We just had to harass him, you know?
Get him now.
Yeah.
So first of all, bro, thank you for joining us today, man. We always start at the beginning at this, you know what I'm saying? So tell us how you guys started into this industry.
Okay. It's kind of a long-winded story. I'll try to make it short and sweet, but it's gonna probably still end up being a long minute.
You're good.
But so me getting into the comic game, it wasn't supposed to happen. I was never gonna make comics ever. Like that wasn't on my radar.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been big into film and television, so film and TV. I've always been big into that, and my older brother was the first one. I'm pretty sure he's the one who introduced me to the whole superhero world. So, because he has his own YouTube channel where he does reviews of the superhero shows and movies and everything. So he's the one who introduced me into the world of superheroes. But I always liked the TV shows, the movies, and the games. So growing up, I always wanted to be a film producer, a TV producer, and writer. I wrote my first script in the 6th grade about ninjas attacking at the elementary school park. It was on loose leaf paper. But yeah, but I was in 6th grade. What was I supposed to do with that script? So it just kind of went out the window. So then, fast forward to a couple of years, I'm a senior in high school, and this was around the time where everyone was trying to plan out, what college they're going to go to and everything. Me, I wasn't going to college at first because I always knew that I wasn't going to treat college fairly. I was going to mess that up. So so I told my parents, I'm like, nah, I'm going straight to the military. But my mom was like, no, I want you to try school. So sadly, I listened to her and tried school, but I only applied to 2 schools. And one of them was Columbia in Chicago, and then the other one was SIUC, which is Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, which is 5 hours from me. And Columbia in Chicago was only 25 to 30 minutes. So my parents wouldn't let me move out the house if I went to Columbia. So at Columbia, I was gonna study TV and film. I was gonna be big by now. I should have been big by now if I went to Columbia. But since they didn't let me move out the house, I chose the school that was 5 hours away because they didn't have no choice but to let me leave because it's 5 hours away. I can't ride back and forth. So I chose that school, and they didn't have a film major there. So obviously I majored in something stupid. Into my sophomore year, I ended up dropping out and going to the military. So while in the military, though, I stumbled across the guy's trailer. His name is David Kirkman of St. Louis. He had a Static Shock trailer. He made a Static Shock fan film, and he had a trailer. And I'm like, this trailer looked dope. I'm like, this is what I was supposed to be doing right now. So it made me a little jealous. But then I'm like, well, let me hit him up. So I hit him up, and me and him became close, and he started talking to me about how he makes all his films. He has a big presence on YouTube, millions of views on his fan films and everything. So he made his first Static movie, then he made the second one, the sequel to his Static. Thank you. He made the sequel to his Static, And when he did that one, I asked him, I was like, so what do I have to do? Because like I said, I always wanted to be in film. So I'm like, what do I have to do to make a film? I was like, how much would it cost me? How much would it cost me to have you produce a film for me? This man said like $5,000, I believe. And I was like, ooh, I ain't got that yet. So he said like $5,000, but I didn't have that yet. So I started Googling. I randomly thought about comics. So I started Googling like indie comic world, basically trying to find someone who could produce a comic, basically, because I didn't know how to produce it. Like I had the script, I wrote the script, but I didn't know how to write a comic script.
Right.
Okay.
So I didn't know how to write the comic script at all. I didn't know how to format it. I know how to do a movie script because, like I said, I was into that. But I started Googling, so then I came across two people. I came across Lonzo, Starr, Konkret Comics, and then the other one was, I think his name is like Rowie. It's like ROYE, but he was from Unique Studios, which is like a big indie comic production, and basically I think they're based in like Africa somewhere. I'm pretty sure they're in Africa somewhere.
Okay.
But I talked to both of them. I was like, so how do I get a book made? And I was like asking them about prices. So the guy from Unique Studios, that price was just too outrageous for me at the time. I'm like, all right, I can't catch a break. I can't catch a break. I guess this dream not gonna happen for me. But then I did what did I do? Then I asked Lonzo, and I was like, how much? I was like, how much is this gonna cost me? And Lonzo, he plainly put his simple on, was like, we go off your budget, like whatever you can afford. That's what type of artist you'll have and everything. Like that's the quality art you have. Because as you all know, sorry, this life is terrible. Okay, so as you all know, the art can make or break your comic. If you have bad art, ain't nobody gonna buy your book. With bad art.
Oh yeah.
So like he talked about my budget, and we like chopped it up and everything about what I wanted to make, how many issues did I want to make, and everything. And then so I showed him my script. He loved the script, and at first I wasn't gonna like sign with Konkret, like publish through Konkret. I just wanted someone to help me actually make the book.
Right.
So then I was gonna do like the shipping and printing all myself. But he like kept, Lonzo kept begging and begging. He was like, I think you should publish with us. I'm like, I get it. My story's great, better than all y'all stories. I understand. I'm a hot commodity in these streets. He knows this. I'm like, I'm a hot commodity in these streets. I get it. You want my book with yours, with your company, and no one else's. It's cool. I understand, but I was really like against it at first, and then I'm like, I didn't want to the profits. I wanted like 100% to myself. I don't want to.
That don't work.
I'm like, how am I gonna, do all this shit? I'm like, I'm gonna have to find a printer myself. So I ended up joining them because they were able to provide basically everything. So it made it easier on the process for me because all I had to do was write the script and oversee the process of getting the script, getting the book made. They basically have like everything else, marketing and all that, like making the posters. They handle all of that, so it was like easier for me. Because if I did it myself, my promotion probably would be trash. Like my marketing would be trash. Like if y'all see, the pictures that you have put up, like all of that, like the editing, the Photoshop on the pictures, like all the words, I wouldn't have been able to do that. You would have just had a picture of me holding my book, like, "Hey, buy my book." It would have been terrible. It would have been terrible. So I signed with them. I published with them, and it was like the best choice that I could ever make. Honestly, publishing with Konkret Comics, we've literally became like everybody in Konkret Comics literally became. It's like a second family for me. Like we literally talk every day. Like we talk every day. We don't always just talk about business. We literally chop it up about like movies, music. We talk about our personal lives with each other. If someone's going through something, we talk. We literally like we're not just business partners. We're like a family, like actual friends that talk to each other. So Jordan and them was like, you know, it was the best thing for me, basically. So, and ever since I joined them, my book's been doing good. You know, I got the Watchman has a lot of fans. Like a lot of people love the series. I won an award off my mini issue. I didn't think, first of all, I never thought I'd win an award in the indie comic community, but especially not off a mini issue that was literally only 9 pages. Because like I said, I'm a hot commodity. I'm a great writer. I have the Midas touch. I can't help it.
Yeah, and you're humble too, bro.
And you're humble,
yeah, I'm real humble. You know, real humble. You know, anything I write turns to gold. It's like if I was a rapper, I'll probably have like 30 Grammys by now.
Yeah,
I hear you, bro.
Yeah, I don't think you want to beat them right now, though.
But yeah, so that was basically the process of how I got started, and to where I am now. You know, I'm an award-winning, you know, author right now. So that's like great to have in your resume like that. I won an award already, because now people are coming up to me with like different opportunities outside of Konkret Comics. Like other people, like a guy from like the UK. He wanted me to write, create a story for him and write like issues for him so he could turn into like animation. Now that was a great opportunity and all. Like he paid me. Like I wrote like 3 issues for him. I wrote. He went ghost.
Hold up.
Thanks. But it's like my thing is like if you want to work with me. Am I still breaking up?
No, you good now.
You're good now.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
It was like he paid me, like he paid me and everything, but he wasted my time because he ghosted me. Like he just stopped communication. It's like I just did all this work and nothing's gonna come out of it. So it's like I feel like if people want to work with me though, I feel like actually like they need to like be committed to the process as I am. Because if I sign on to do something, I'm gonna go through with it all the way. But he dropped out of it, and I'm like, all right. Like, he made me sign a whole contract and everything for him to drop out. But I'm taking the story myself now because I created it and I wrote it, and you just ghosted it. So, I don't care.
There you go.
Call your lawyers. I got mine too.
He said, call your lawyers.
You know, come to Chicago, matter of fact. We'll handle it.
Good luck with that. Yeah, good luck with that. So let's hey Aaron, can we pull up some of the covers?
Sure, of
Let's
course.
take a look. So tell us about the Watchman. Like what's the story?
Okay, so the story behind the Watchman is, so let me tell y'all the story behind the name. I get a lot of people, they question my name that I have. But so at first he was just gonna be called the Watchman, but it was getting confused with, you know, the movie.
Right.
And people are like, oh, the Watchman. I'm like, do you see a M-E-N? No, it's M-A-N. Like, how are you that confused? So that was always confusing me at how they got confused by the name, because it's clearly Watchman. But this guy, when in the first process of me creating my book, like we were doing the first Kickstarter and promoting it heavy, and this guy hit me up, and he's like, hey man, your character is kind of similar to my character. We have the same name. Now it's these two old guys, Caucasian old guys, right? And they're basically trying to like strong arm me into like changing my character. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I never even heard of you, and I never even heard of y'all character. No one's heard of their character. Right. And I think they were just mad that my character was getting so much traction and theirs weren't.
Possible.
Yeah.
That happens a lot in the comic book world.
And then like they're like, you sure you didn't copy? My character's black, yours is white. How did I copy?
They thought you just colored yours chocolate and just, you know.
Basically, but look, the uniforms was totally different. Guess how theirs looked? Like the old Batman, the gray and blue Batman. That's literally how their character looked. Oh, jeez.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm like, you talking about me copying? You literally took Batman and just changed it.
Jesus Christ.
So we put a stop to that real quick because I'm like, don't discredit what I made. Like we put a stop to that real quick. So then Lonzo, he came up with the idea. He was like, maybe we should change the title. Like he's still the Watchman, but we have to change the title of the book to Tevin Fields is the Watchman, so people can like distinguish from any other thing that might have been the Watchman. So that's why you have the little header up there that says Tevin Fields is the Watchman and everything.
Right.
And as you can tell from issue 1 to issue 2, I changed the costume. Now, before issue 1 even came out, the costume was changed. But the problem was we already started drawing issue 1 and coloring it. I didn't want to start over and change the costume, so we had to wait till issue 2 to introduce the new costume. Because the new costume was already made back in like 2020. It was already made. Like the new costume was already, we had this costume probably for like 2 years at this point. But we already had the book drawn out, so I couldn't change it in the middle of the book.
Okay.
Yeah, that would cost you,
Yeah, that would have cost me more money because then I had to get everything, redrawn and recolored. But so it's Tevin Fields is the Watchman. It's about a Air Force veteran, which I took that from part of my life because I was in the Air Force. So it's a Air Force veteran who grew up in the foster system. So he never knew his biological parents growing up. He grew up in a foster system. He had a tough time, as foster houses, how other kids in there can be like bullying and everything.
Right.
So he went through that and everything. He got into he met some bad friends, and he just started acting out because that's basically the environment he grew up in from like the abuse that he experienced and everything. So, but then one night he's out on the town, and then him and his group of friends are getting into trouble, but the original Watchman, which happens to be his biological father, he sees him, but he's been watching them. He's been watching over Tevin for a minute. He always knew Tevin was his, but he just didn't want to bring him into his life because of the life that he lived. So he stayed away until he saw that Tevin was going down a bad path. So he had to intervene at this point before it was too late.
Right.
So he basically gets to them. They end up talking it out and everything. They talk it out. He goes to live with them, and then he's from like the age I think from like the age of like 12 or something. That's when he like grows up with his dad, and he's getting trained and everything. But his dad basically never let him. He was never a sidekick. Like his dad never let him go out and dress up. He was just training him for like discipline reasons and whatnot. And that's why he went to the military, because he felt like he couldn't do anything on his own. So he went to the military. He comes back. His dad ends up being murdered, basically, and that's when he takes up the mantle as the Watchman. So he takes the father's mantle. First, he takes it up to find out what happened to his dad and why he was murdered. But then he takes it up to continue his legacy.
Okay, great.
That's like a dope story.
That's all like a dope.
I told you, I'm great. I can't help that. I just write. Go.
I feel you.
So what kind of villains does he run up against? Is his powers more physical combat? Does he have like cosmic powers? Like,
so he's mainly. So I put my own twist on a vigilante. I didn't want a Batman or a Nightwing. Especially didn't want a Batman. Oh, with prep time, Batman could be anyone. No, but it makes no sense. Do not start
that argument.
Yeah, start that argument with prep time. So I didn't want that to go. So my thing is that I like vigilantes, and I also like super soldiers. Like Captain America is like one of my favorites. So like Captain America and Black Panther, like they're basically all like enhanced. So I created an enhanced vigilante. So he's enhanced, but he's way stronger than Captain America ever was. Captain America's like max lifting is Tevin's minimum.
Oh wow.
okay.
So basically how that went was Tevin's dad made a serum and injected himself. But Tevin was born with it. Because it was in his dad's DNA. So since Tevin was born with it, he's way stronger than his dad was. And since he was born with it in general, it's in his blood. So it's like a muscle. The more he works out, the stronger he can get. So he doesn't even know his own max yet and all of his abilities yet. But like he's really into like hand-to-hand combat. He knows I think over 10 fighting forms, mainly due to his dad and also him being in the military. He's a tactician. he's very versed in like different weapons and everything, but his weapon of choice is the bow staff, which is the he has basically like a mechanical bow staff, so it connects and disconnects.
Okay.
So like he can like take it into like two batons, or he can put them together. Either way he goes, he beats everybody he comes in contact with. So so he's strong, he's fast, agile, very athletic. He has super senses, so he can hear better than a human. He can than the average human. He can see farther and everything. Like his senses are dialed up like times 20.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Strong character.
So exactly. So he's like the best vigilante ever in history.
Yeah.
He's the best vigilante ever in history.
Mhm.
And so the villains though that he comes across, like at first, I gotta start it off slow. So at first it's like regular dudes in issue 1. It's just like regular dudes until you get to the end, and then you see this guy Vale standing over here. And now, what I liked about me writing the first one is at the end they just saw this guy, like they didn't even see his full face. They kind of saw like half his like eyes and the back of him. And they're like, wait, who is this guy? So everybody was really waiting for issue 2 so I could introduce this guy. And as everyone knows that has seen issue 2 or read issue 2 by now, Vale is actually his half brother.
Oh, okay. Twist.
Yeah, they have two different. They have 2 different moms, but Vale is the older brother. But what Tevin never knew about it, and the Watchmen, their dad never knew about it. But Vale thinks that the dad knew about it, so he's very upset. He's upset that Tevin became the Watchman, so he's basically out for blood. Which is why issue 2 is called. What is it called, man? Can y'all read that? I forgot what my book's called. It's Back in Blood. There it is. Issue 2 is called Back in Blood.
Back in Blood.
He's back for blood now. Like he wants the mantle. Like he wants to be the king, the top dog in the city. So he's trying to take. So in the first arc, it's basically going to be him versus Tevin. He's trying to take Tevin down.
I love the artwork. I love them sitting on the fire escape.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice urban touch.
Urban touch.
Yeah, and then I had then that cover right there from issue 1 is my that was my Mamba edition cover because that was in tribute because that was around the time that Kobe died. So that was in tribute. That cover was in tribute to Kobe.
Okay.
Because Kobe was my favorite until, tragically.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Here in the man cave, we like to ask a couple questions of the creators. So could you give me your top 3 to 5 comic book or storylines that you absolutely love? Characters or storylines that you like?
Okay, I'll go with the characters, and then you could probably tell the storylines from the characters. It would be obviously my favorite. Surprisingly, my favorite is the one that I grew up emulating. Like I literally used to be in my living room spinning my broom because I thought I was Robin. So and I'm not talking about the other ones. I'm talking about Dick Grayson, the original Robin. He was my favorite, and then he turned into Nightwing. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, separate, be your own man. We don't like Batman. Get rid of him because he needs prep time to beat everybody.
That's interesting, bro. I've never met anybody that was like, yo, I like Robin. That's interesting. That's interesting.
Like Robin, Nightwing, Dick Grayson is my favorite. Number 1. Number 2 would have to be Captain America.
Okay.
So basically, as you can see, my characters basically them put together.
Yeah.
Right.
Can see that.
So it's Dick Grayson, Captain America. I mean, the rest is probably just a bunch of who cares about it. But so some I like Green Arrow and I like the Flash. So that'll make 4. And then my 5th one would definitely be Black Panther because I like the kinetic aspect that he has to his suit.
Yeah.
It'll be him. So I like that one. And an honorable mention, surprisingly, an honorable mention would be Gambit.
Yeah.
We love Gambit. So
Okay.
we need more film or whatever show
I'm saying,
adaptation
I need
of
some
Gambit.
film.
I need some film. I need something.
I needed that movie they were supposed to make with Channing Tatum. I need that.
Yeah.
Bring that back.
Channing Tatum was about to mess up that damn movie. He was about to mess up that character. That's why Marvel said, "Oh hell no!"
I think he would have did great. I think he would have did good.
Man, they would have to put so much hair prosthetics on that boy. And for him to get that accent down, that Cajun accent.
You got to get that deep Louisiana. I know people from the South who don't know what they're talking about. You have to be a part of that one. Anything else, you guys?
Oh shit! All right. So you like to? You're a movie. You wanted to be a producer and a writer for movies. All right. Give me your top 5 movies.
Ooh.
And they don't wait. And they don't have to be. They don't have to be a comic book related. They can be just the top 5 movies that you can say, okay, I can put this on and I'm staying through it no matter what.
Oh, sitting through it. Okay, so number 1 would have to be Zorro.
Wow. Wait. Which one?
The original. The one with what's his name? Antonio Banderas.
Okay.
The first one. So the first Zorro with him in it. That was my movie growing up because I always watched it with my dad. So Zorro is always number 1.
Okay.
Number 2 is kind of a newer movie. Don't judge me for it, but I probably watched this movie like 30 times, but it's The Greatest Showman.
Wow. Wait, hold up.
Wow.
Greatest Showman? You got my boy Hugh Jackman in there. I can't front. Hugh Jackman is in it. I've seen it like 4 times, I will admit that. But
I've seen it. Like, that's my movie. I could keep playing The Greatest Showman. So you got Zorro, The Greatest Showman. Black Panther, obviously the first movie. And then surprisingly, I'm just gonna put all of these ones into one. Because it's a franchise. I'm just gonna put them into one movie. Is the Fast and Furious franchise. Up to a certain point. When they started going to space, they threw me away.
All right. I was about to say, we have to have a cutoff point.
When they started going to space, I'm like, okay, y'all lost me at this point. But I still watch them.
Wait, so Tyrese in space? You ain't like that? Come on,
No, I did not like it. Yeah, I was like, what was the point? It was no point. So Fast and Furious. This is another movie that's just real off the wall. But see, I like a lot of movies, so it's hard for me to put them in order. It's like hard for me to put them in order. So I would say 4 would have to be. I'm drawing a blank, man. It's like I can see the movie in my head, but I don't got the title. So I'm just gonna have to move on from that movie. Okay. So I'm just gonna change my number 4 to. Surprisingly, don't judge me again. Like I said, I love The Land Before Time. That was a great franchise. I'm so serious. Wait, like I could sit and watch The Land Before Time. Littlefoot, that's my dude. Littlefoot.
I'm a cartoon guy from it started, but
Land Before Time was dope back in the day.
First of all, this is a room full of cartoon comic book nerds. Yeah, for sure. So you would be surprised the things that we watch and we loved and whatnot. The Land Before Time, I remember getting that for my kids. It was tight, bro. It was nice. The characters were great. It was easy for the kids to absorb, so it actually was a dope movie.
Yeah.
And then I'm for number 5, I'm gonna put my most recent like movies that I'm like really into because they have the best movies in universe history so far compared to the other universe that's out there. Would be the Marvel franchise.
The whole franchise?
Yeah, the whole franchise?
No, not the whole franchise.
Oh, okay.
Like I would say the first Iron Man.
Okay.
All right.
I would say the first Iron Man. Obviously, for me, the first Captain America. But the best Captain America one that I like is
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier. Yeah,
Winter Soldier.
it's that one. Winter Soldier, and then Civil War for me behind it because they introduced Tom Holland and Black Panther in that one. So that holds a special place in my heart.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. But you say the Winter Soldier is a little bit of a better movie?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. It's interesting that you say that. Because I got overbooted on that debate. I got overbooted on that debate.
Yeah, no,
so I'm with you.
So we do a tier list where we break out like certain movies and stuff, and we put them in chronological order. What's dog shit, what's top choice and everything. And there was like a 30-minute rant about whether or not Civil War or Winter Soldier was better.
Civil War.
It's like they're low key close, but I would just put. The only reason I'm putting Winter Soldier above is because I feel like Civil War, they could have added a couple more people in there to make it a Civil War.
This is a smart guy right here. He knows what he's talking
about. They could have made it a little more like the books. Because look, then you have Endgame. So basically that last scene in Endgame, that could have been Civil War. They could have added a lot more people. Y'all put all them people in Endgame but couldn't do it for Civil War?
You gotta realize it still didn't even own a lot of those freaking rights. That's what killed Marvel.
Yeah, that's what's killing them right now with certain characters. They don't have the license for it.
Yeah. As soon as they get those licensing, it's gonna be a wrap. 2024 is gonna be a freaking wrap, but 2025 is gonna be even better. So once they own everything,
it's gonna be
I can't wait for the future of Marvel. The future of DC for me is like,
we feel the same way.
Anyway,
we feel the same way.
We're the same. We're definitely the same.
Matter of fact, I think we're talking about that later at some point.
You check for that one on the YouTube channel. So just tell everybody, how can they get the Watchman? Where can they pick it up? Where will you be anytime soon if they can catch up with you and get that signature and all that?
Okay, so where you can get the Watchman currently right now is on KonkretComics.com. So you can find the link, or just go to KonkretComics.com if you're watching this, or you can find the links on my Facebook page. My Facebook, Tevin Fields is the Watchman page, or the Watchman series on Instagram, or my Instagram page, Lyle the Writer. You'll see it in you'll see the link in the bio. It'll take you directly to the site, or you can go to Konkret Comics, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You'll see the links in the bio, so you can go grab issue 2, or you can literally grab all 3 issues that are out, which would be the mini issue, issue 1, and issue 2. You can grab all of those just straight in a bundle. But if you want specific covers, because for issue 2, there are 3 covers on the site. It's my limited edition cover, the second cover, and then the first original cover. So they're still available for sale on the site. And if you still want the bundle, just shoot a message to me or Konkret Comics with your order number, and then say what cover that you do want with the bundle. So we could do a personalized like that.
We'll leave. We'll also leave links to everything in the description below the YouTube video, just for everybody who's watching. This way, they could reach out and pick up any of these, and hopefully all of the books that are available. So.
Yeah. And where I would be, so I haven't done a Comic-Con yet. I've been in this for like 2 years. I have not done a Comic-Con yet, unfortunately. But there is a con that I'm trying to do. If you're gonna be in the Chicagoland area, it's in May. I'm pretty sure it's called Head Nerds in Charge. It's gonna be in Skokie. But just stay tuned to my social media. If I'm gonna be there, I will post it, and you will find out. Cool. And any other cons, if I'm going, just like I said, just stay on my social media. You'll find out.
All right.
Okay.
But I am doing something this year.
Okay.
Awesome.
So listen, man, we tell everybody that comes on board, man, you're officially part of the family. The door's always open, wherever you're doing. If you're promoting something, you got new issues coming out, anything that you promote, and you can always come through here. This is what the platform is for. We want to thank you again for your time, my man Lyle Ringold.
No problem.
The Watchman. Oh, Tevin Fields is the Watchman. Don't get it messed up. There's no A, there's no E in the name.
Thank you.
Get that
Get it
fixed.
right.
Learn how to
If you
read.
can't get it right, and if you can't get it right, come see me.
Yeah. Got buffalo fries. Better get over there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Thank you for your time, bro. We're gonna talk to you soon. And other than that, we out, bro. Have a good one. Be safe.
Peace.
See you
Thank
soon.
you too.